Okay, so we got our inner rails finished, and the blade I've also flipped over the OSB. I usually use this side, which is the unmarked side, for the interior because it's actually got a factory coating in it. So if you're building outside, it will hold up to some weather. And then I just paint the underside once the trailer's done anyway. So that will protect the underside. Okay, so what we want to do now is shore up one of these wall sides with a piece of foam. So I got a piece of 2-inch foam that I've cut. It's only maybe a 3/4 wide, but this is going to be our template to use as a spacer to get these in this case this wall rail in place. So I'll start at the end here. I'm going to verify the other side's good. Okay, so this frame rail is like a 1/16 of an inch too long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Okay, so I made a few extra foam spacers to make this a little bit easier. So I'm resetting up this wall rail, and we're going to again verify that both ends are 2 inches in and that we're 2 inches in on the center. Okay, once we got this rail set up, it's time for drilling. Okay, so I set up my drill with a 3/8 bit. We're going to drill that center hole. Right, now we can put a bolt in it. Now that bolt will hold the wall rail in place, and so we're going to go ahead and drill the end piece here. Square and spacer again. Kind of drag the board out just a hair, and then you can just drag it right back using the square until it stops. And we're ready to drill that hole. Now we can put a bolt in that one. And same on the end. Right, that That should set us for the rest of the holes. We only got the 200 drilled. And we can put our bolts through there. And there you go for our first wall rail. So the first wall rail is probably your hardest one to do. The rest should fall in pretty easy after that. Again, we're going to have to verify that we're not too long. So we already know this side's good. But we do want to verify this other end is okay. Put the spacer in. And I am about a 1/4 inch off. So we're going to have to cut this one, we're going to have to trim this one down. Means we're about a 1/4 inch off. I'm going to trim off 1/8 of an inch on each side. Alright, so after cutting or trimming off the ends, which it turned out only need to take a 1/16 off, we'll do another measurement, make sure we're good. Alright, that looks good. Again, I'm going to measure in the middle. I already know the length is good, so I'm just butting up against that end a little bit. And then I'm going to just slide this over. Tough quits moving using my foam spacer. Alright. Now we're ready to make the hole. Slide in our bolts to hold place. Now we're ready to drill our end pieces. Again, kind of pull that out, take your square, slide it in until it quits moving. Redo that. There we go, right there. Now for our final drill. Drop our bolt. There we go. First end piece is installed. Okay, so Next we want to do the opposite end wall piece. And we want to check and make sure that our length is correct. Once again, I'm a little long. Have to trim it down a little bit. Try it again. All right, you're now good there. Let's go ahead and make our center hole. Good to go. Again, I move it over just a hair. Use the square to slide it over. Over against the edge. Ready for our next hole. Okay, so this one in theory should be the easiest one to put in, so let's verify our ends are right. Of course they line up well, and we'll ready to drill our center hole. I want to drill the center hole, but I'm going to go ahead and re-verify that it's slide on each end. Looks like we're good. two. Okay, so after we get all the holes drilled and we got everything laid up right, now we need to pull all the inner rails out so that we can vacuum up any sawdust that might accumulate underneath the 2x2s, between the OSB and the 2x2s. Vacuum all that up, and then we apply a little glue and then bolt them down. When you take these off, make sure you remember what side they went on and which way is forward, so that you don't get your holes messed up. So otherwise, if you try and put this board on this board, the holes won't line up. Of course, when you got glue on it, it'd be difficult to move things around without getting glue all over the place. Same with your end pieces. Make sure you note which way is forward. In fact, I want to go ahead and mark this one so that I don't forget. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this with an F right there, front, meaning towards the edge there, so it can go on just like that. Of course, if I don't see the F, then it's upside down, so should be good to go. Go ahead and mark this one with an F2. I'll leave it down here so I don't get confused. Alright, so now we're ready for gluing these down and bolting them down. So make sure my orientation is correct. So here's the front, this is the top, because I know because the F's on top. So let's go ahead and flip it over. And I use Gorrilla Glue heavy duty construction adhesive for this, and just apply it to the bottom. Probably just do one bead would probably be fine. Try not to get it on too thick, because it will hold the part away from the OSB a bit. So you want to make sure you don't get it thick, and then it squishes out all over. Better to have the one small bead in there rather than trying to clean this stuff up. Alright, verifying my reference point again. F towards the front, F's on the top, glue's on the bottom. Now we just put it down. Just try and get it close to where we want it. And as you can tell, I messed up a little bit there, but don't worry about that too much. Alright. So once you get it kind of close to where you want it, you can kind of move it around a little bit to kind of squish that glue out a bit. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and put nuts and washers on. Not going to snug them down yet. Alright, so this is what they call a carriage bolt. Basically rounded on top. It's got a square, I guess, head that's underneath the rounded top. And in this case, this one's a 3/8 by 3 inch. And the reason why I make these inboard frame rails is this helps with the glue of the foam. So you'll be resting the foam up against here, and obviously along the floor here, and so that way it creates kind of a channel there, and it makes a real strong bond from the foam going over to the inner frame rail. Plus this gives you a real strong attachment to the frame, because if you just bolt it to the frame like this, these would eventually wobble themselves out, and we don't want that. So we'll put these frame rails on the inside, that way we're not adding height to the trailer. In some cases we do need to put a 2x2 on the bottom as well, and that's if you're building wider than the trailer. But these will go through the wood, through the floor, and then, as you know, we measured those frame rails on the trailer, so those will eventually, we'll drill holes straight through, right through the trailer, and then put our nuts and bolts through the trailer and fasten it down like that. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and snug these down without the trailer, so we can work on it in the shop here. And then of course I don't have a trailer, but we'll use these split washers and washers when we bolt it to the trailer. But being that we're not bolting it to the trailer right now, we're just going to use this washer to snug all these down and clamp that 2x2 to the OSB while this glue sets up. So I'll start that right now. Alright, so we put the washer on. Alright. So we spin the nut up till it's snug. Make sure our ratchet's going the right way. And then we're just going to pull that square point right into the wood. And we're just going to snug the head right up to the top of the 2x2. And once we got that, we just apply a little bit more pressure and make sure that our was making good contact with the floor, so that glue spreads out nicely. And we'll do that with the rest of these here. Okay, there you have it. We have all the frame rails cut, glued, bolted, and now we're ready to move on to the next step. Until then, bug out.